Hey everyone, on today's episode of Detour Tales from Hell, I have a dear friend, Ajay Relan. He is an entrepreneur in LA. Him and his business partner own a very famous sports bar called The Parlor, and now a very popular coffee shop in South LA called Hilltop. No one has been hurt like the hospitality industry. I wanted to hear from someone in the trenches on how they're handling it, what they're doing, how they plan to recover from it. Will people ever go back to these restaurants and bars? And how does that look like? I think it's a really interesting conversation because habits have changed, and we get into it today. All right, everyone, we're with another one of my really close friends, Ajay Relan, also out of Los Angeles, California. He has a nice Zoom background, so thank you. You are in the restaurant business, which is why I wanted to talk to you. I feel like hospitality has gotten hurt the most in this whole coronavirus situation. Can you walk us through your businesses and then kind of what's happening?
Sure. So I, along with a partner, have a restaurant management company called GVO. Hospitality stands for Good Vibes Only. We have two concepts currently here in LA. One is a pretty well-known institution. It's a sports bar called The Parlor. It's been there about 10 years. We have a location at LAX in Terminal 3, the Delta Airlines terminal. And then our newest concept, which we launched in summer of 2018, is Hilltop Coffee and Kitchen. It's a mission-driven coffee concept that we started down in South LA. We opened our second location in Inglewood in December. And we were getting ready to open our third location. But, that's another story.
So are any of the businesses currently operating?
Yeah, so Parlor, once the sports part got old, and we are a sports bar, and then that got kind of doubled down with the safer at home and shutting non-essential businesses down. That essentially closed, but we did keep Hilltop open for takeout and delivery.
And so what is like Parlor shutting down? What does that mean? Does that mean everyone who works there has been furloughed? Does that mean you pay rent? I mean, what does that mean?
It means it's a big question mark, right? I mean, in terms of, figuring out the best ways to handle, restaurants have so many employees. Restaurants specifically, putting under the umbrella of small business, right? And it's such a huge percentage of the small business segment. Restaurants, if you're lucky, do about 8 to 12% if you're a good operator of EBITDA. And then, if you're a more seasoned operator, a top tier restaurant could do 18 to 22%, but you're not really working with a lot of margins. You're not working with high cash reserves. You have a lot of employees, a lot of exposure, a lot of liability. So, we had to make the decision essentially. We had next to nothing in a takeout or delivery business. Our food's good, but it's not, enough to build a delivery business off of it. And our whole brand and experience is built off of social connection and not social distancing. So we're currently going through all of the different options around furloughing versus applying for these SBOE loans that, are still kind of a pretty fluid process with the federal government announcing these stimulus packages. So we're working with local, political representatives and bankers to really identify what the best route forward is. But right now, we really don't know.
And so when you talk about the takeout delivery business in your coffee shops, obviously we all have a lot of friends in the restaurant business, and I've heard that the delivery is great, but it's nowhere near the volume.
No, not at all. So yeah, you're talking about, 80 to 90% of a drop in sales. And then with delivery apps, the thing that people aren't really talking about is the fact that they take a 30% commission off of the order that you do on their platform.
Which is crazy, especially in a time like this. All you're doing, you're essentially just a credit card processing company.
Essentially, yeah. Except you're charging 10 times more than what a credit card, and the credit card processing is already kind of a ripoff anyway. But so yeah, we're just, to be frank, we're just fucked, right? As an industry, but it's like we can't be. So leadership needs to step up and come up with real solutions in terms of federal, whatever faith we have in the federal government, but state and local officials. We were just dealing with something with, there was like an emergency city council meeting that was on this past Friday, I believe. It's on Friday, and it was all digital. It was a Zoom city council meeting. You have
Yeah.
300 public people waiting in line to talk. And one of the items on the agenda was for small businesses to compensate all of its employees an extra 80 hours of sick leave, or the equivalent, or two weeks of full-time pay. And it's like, how can you propose something that way when you know that we're not bringing in any income? We're not making any revenue. What are we going to pay these people with? And,
Yeah.
I was sharing our low margin business, from the outset. So it's like, there isn't any working capital. There isn't any, so then you asked about landlords earlier. I mean, you got to have the conversations. They're tough conversations, but everybody's in the same boat, right? It's like,
Yeah.
what money are we going to pay you with? We're not making any money, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know I have a lease. I know I have we've talked to some of our landlord the key is obviously being proactive and
Yeah.
having the conversation early, and, landlords understand, and they're like, well, I got to charge you rent anyway, because so we're still accruing rents. We still have fixed costs. We still have labor expenses for the people that we're able to retain. So we'll see. I mean, we're just, on top of having investors to reimburse and assets that are depreciating and infrastructure expenses. And there's just so many cash flow challenges when it comes to operating any business, as you know, but like specifically a food and beverage business. So yeah, unfortunately, you're going to start seeing, if you haven't already, people just closing because they can't afford to be open.
And do you, like, I've been really thinking about this. So what's happened in the last couple of weeks, specifically in LA, is that, and I think we talked about this on the phone, habits are changing. And the idea, let's take your industry, for going out to eat with a group of people, especially let's take the parlor, which is a very social, it's a lot of people, it's a lot of energy. And like, in what world do you see that coming back to normal? Do you think people are going to comfortably just be like, hey, I used to do this, so I'm going to go back to doing this? And
No, that's the other big thing, right? I mean, you have habits that are now being formed, right? Like, people are, subconsciously or unconsciously, people are going to just start being different. Normal is not there. No one knows what normal is going to be anymore. There's no semblance of what it's going to, like, you could be of the school of thought that everything is different indefinitely, and then we'll just see where everything lands. But I think things will go back to, I just don't know when, and I don't know what habits over the next 60 to 90 days or whenever we get out of this thing. I mean, like, you're at home, I'm at home, I'm here with my kids, I'm like loving having more time to spend with them, but it's also, it's like people, what is it, 21 days to form a new habit. So it's like, you're getting better at cooking at home, or you're like scared to go out. There's just so many different variables, and like having the media, which is just so fear driven, definitely doesn't help. So, it's like the ability, to, on a positive note, the ability to use this time while you're doing damage control and putting out fires and essentially fighting for your life, trying to get ahead of things that get creative and get ahead of things that you had on your company roadmap, or you had things that could be worked on with the resources and the management still in place to kind of get ahead of everything and just hope for the best.
And let's say, like, are you in the back of your mind, and maybe you're not outwardly talking about this, but if there is this habit forming situation where people aren't kind of going back to normal life in your industry, what's plan B? Like, have you already started thinking about that? Football season starts September and people are like, whoa, I don't know if I want to go watch football with 500 people at a sports bar.
Yeah. Well,
like,
that's a real question. I mean, the reality, we have some real challenging decisions that we're going to have to make. I mean, we've been there for 10 years. We have an airport location. Our airport location closed. Travel isn't gone, but it's next to gone. So
yeah,
got an email from the airport operations team saying, hey guys, we're going to be closed indefinitely until this,
that's
like,
crazy.
crazy. And those people put a lot of money into building those spaces. I mean, we're, a lot of jobs. So it's just like, NBA season, is it coming back? Probably not. It might just be a wash. Baseball's getting pushed back. I mean, like, it's just, I think all of it is just, there's just a big question mark. But we have some really tough decisions that we're going to need to make you know, um, here pretty soon.
Yeah, especially, I mean, if you think about this year, besides traditional sports, you had the Olympics, which is always
Huge for us.
huge, right? Like
Huge.
it's
These are big. It's huge. Summers are historically slow for sports because nobody gives a shit about baseball until October, or period.
yeah.
No, people do. But yeah, the Olympics is like kind of that. The Olympics and World Cup come around every 4 years, and it just packs us out for the summer. And yeah, we're gonna miss that.
And what about the coffee shop business? Because that seems like in a safer place because of the nature of it, because it almost feels like it's very essential to our daily life. So people are accustomed to grabbing a cup of coffee, they're accustomed to buying the food at a coffee shop. Like, do you think that business will go back to normal quicker, or do you think that will also?
Yeah, I think that's the plan. I mean, the thing that we were really intentional about with the Hilltop brand specifically is, like we're very community oriented. We've built a really strong community. We've only been there for a year and a half, but it's been really inspiring to see that local community, like, and they know the intention that we had going in. We're in South LA. We're among the first of a new wave of interest in that area because everyone's gung ho Rams Stadium. So we've put in a lot of work and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and love into nurturing our community. So they've been doing a really good job of supporting us, catering orders. We just did something with the local council member today where we made a bunch of meals for local seniors who weren't getting their meal programs because they're affected and they're afraid of social distancing. So there's a lot of creative, collaborative things that we've been able to do to kind of create a volume. And we're working on something now with a big brand. It's not finalized yet, but we're going to be working, with some community organizations, including #LunchBag, which I'm a part of, and using our dormant kitchen spaces to actually feed people that may not be able to feed themselves. We have a keen focus right now on the nonprofit side around feeding, getting meals to kids who depend on the meals that they get at school. And you got 1.5 million kids in the LAUSD school system. A good chunk of them are food insecure and rely on the food that they're getting. So if we have the team and we have the resources and we have the connections to be able to form together something special, I mean, that's kind of the beauty. If I'm looking at a silver lining at a time like this, it's to, more than ever, really, putting forth that message that everybody really is in this together.
And, last question, really touching on the nonprofit side, because you have a very popular nonprofit, #LunchBag. What does that look like? Like, are people giving money to nonprofits? Do you think people are, I know everyone's talking about making sure we look out for our community, but man, when push comes to shove, usually no one gives a fuck.
Yeah. So yeah, you're not wrong to think that. I mean, what sucks is we've been around for a while. We've made a tremendous amount of impact with very minimal resources over the years. I mean, we just got our first full-time employee last year. We have a small team of 3 people, 2 of them being part-time consultants that pour a lot into this. But, and all of our revenue is based on these events that we do for corporations, right? We do a lot of team building, employee engagement, all centered around this idea of making it cool to be kind. And those are all live, in-person, human connection activation. So overnight, we had about, the rest of our year's revenue pulled out from underneath us. And we work with some of the biggest, we had activations coming up with the MLS and the NFL and the United Way. And we just did something with the All-Star Weekend, so all these cool things that we're going to build some momentum towards we're just seeing the light on some sustainability, and out of nowhere we're like, we got to get creative. Our whole shit is based on bringing people together in this positive environment and giving and instilling these values. And how can we do that digitally? So part of what I was alluding to earlier is we've never been a big fundraising organization. 90% of our revenue comes from corporations, which is not a sustainable thing. But again, there were things in the playbook that were like, this year we will diversify our approach and make more lasting impact and be more sustainable, even on a nonprofit side. It's just like a for-profit business, man. There's your value that you're kind of creating. So, we've been able to, again, being an outlier, living here, having friends knowing some people, we've been able to get creative and have some pretty cool online things that we're doing with some high profile people that care about and give a shit about what we're doing, specifically focused around the kids and getting these students meals, but also moving into feeding elderly and obviously the homeless population. So you just got to get creative, you
Yeah.
know, like you gotta, there's no sense in being emotional about it. You know, like, you know, I'm home, you know, I have a family, I have 2 kids, I have a really young kid that I just, you know, is relatively new, and my partner has a family, and it's, you know, it sucks, but, you know, you just got to you got to roll with it. And I firmly believe that the people that survive, and I count us as being some of those people, will come out of this stronger than ever. And it'll be one of those things that we look back and that we weathered and we got through and came out on the other end better.
Amazing. Well, best of luck. Where can people reach you?
Um, if you want to donate or look up what hashtag lunchbag is up to, it's at hashtag lunchbag, the word hashtag spelled out, lunchbag. Hilltop is at find your hilltop. And I'm at AJ Fresh, AJAY Fresh.
Awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Good luck with everything. And can't wait for a Zoom background. That shit looks good.
All Gucci.